remainders. So we have in our problem here, we got x squared plus 4, and we're dividing that by x minus 3. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to have to change up how we write up our remainders, and we're going to make sure we pay attention to the directions. I know you guys don't necessarily always read the directions, so here's the directions right here, okay? It says that your answer should be in the form of p of x plus k over x minus 3, where p is the polynomial and k is an integer. What this all means is we're going to have an answer from our division, which is p of x. So that's going to be the number that we get on top with all our x's and stuff. And k, that's going to be the remainder that we get from this. So whatever number we get for the remainder, that's going to be put in a fraction over what we divided by. So they tell you that to start off with, okay? So let's take a look at our problem. Sorry about that. Let me scroll down. Okie dokie. First off, one thing we want to address is we see in our problem we are going straight from x squared to 4, a number without an x. In this case, where we skip over a number like this, we want to make sure that we put a 0x in the placeholder for x to the first power. So like I write over here, 0x is that should say place. So that's my fault. Let's rewrite that. Really should say placeholder. My fault. You guys know me. I'm not an English teacher. Sometimes I make mistakes. So 0x is a placeholder. All this did not come through. I am using 2 computers right now, so that is my bad, guys. So let's take a look at this first division. So we got the 0x holding the placeholder right here. This is mostly so when we go through the division, we are able to combine the like terms with the things that we have there, and we don't leave any spaces. That ends up making the division a bit messier, and it makes it a little harder for us to do things. So let's deal with this first one. So we want to get x to look like x squared, so that means we got to multiply it by an x. So x times x gives us underneath here an x to the second power. Then x times negative 3 gives us a negative 3x. So we're going to make our parentheses. I'm going to put our minus sign right here. Now we go through and we do our subtraction. So x squared minus x squared cancels it out. We're good. Now 0 minus negative 3x, when we're doing subtracting a negative number, that gives us a positive number. So we got positive 3x. And we're going to bring this 4 down now to continue our division. So next up, we want to get x to look like 3x. That means we got to multiply x by a 3. So we're going to set this up. We're going to do our parentheses, our line, our minus sign. So 3 times x, that gives us 3x. 3 times negative 3 will give us a negative 9. Now we notice, just off of our directions, we will get a remainder, and we happen to see that if we look at our subtraction right here. We know 4 minus negative 9 isn't going to cancel this out and give us a 0 as a remainder. So let's go through, let's do this. We know 3x minus 3x, that cancels out, just like how it did with the x squareds. Now 4 minus negative 9, that turns it into 4 plus 9. 4 plus 9 is going to end up giving us a 13 as an answer. Now, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to format this a little differently than we've done in the past. In the past, what we've done is we've just let this up as a R something. Now, some of you guys in the papers and the answers I've seen, you guys actually put it in the fraction form, so you guys are good. So for those of you that don't, here's what we're going to do. First, let's finish the rest of our answer. We know that x and 3, both of these were going to be positive numbers, so we're going to put a plus sign in between these. Next, to the side, we're going to write our answer for our remainder. So our remainder is the result of us dividing by negative, sorry, not by negative, divided by x minus 3. That's what we got this remainder from. Now we're going to put the number from our remainder, the 13. We're going to bring that up here on top of this. So we got 13 over x minus 3. Now this 13 is a positive number, so we're going to put a plus sign right there. Oop, my fault. Some of that got cut off. So I got x plus 3 plus 13 over x minus 3. All this right here, this is our final answer. So now let's go over to Kahn Academy. Let's check this out. So I put my first part in there. My first part was x plus 3. Then we're going to put plus our next part. Now for this next part, what you want to do, since we're putting in a fraction, we're going to use this x over y key. That's going to set up a little fraction bar for us. So we got plus in our fraction. We have 13 over x minus 3. Now let's check this out. Let's hit the check button. Nice big check, and we got this. So nice big and good. Now let's take a look back over here, because we want to make sure that we're addressing this other method, just in case some of you have gathered a liking to it. So we got a couple things here. First up, what we want to do is we want to deal with finding the 0 of our divisor. Then after we find the 0, we're going to go and set this up all in our division. Now we know we want to find the 0 of x minus 3. That's just us adding 3 to the other side, which means that our x equals a 3. So we're going to put 3 up here in our house. 3. Bong. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the coefficient from our polynomial here, the coefficient of this big old thing right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag this 3 down a bit. And now we're going to bring our polynomials into this problem. So we know the coefficient of x squared is a 1. So we're going to put a 1 right here first. We got 1. The coefficient of 0x is what we're going to put in next. So we got 0. So we got 1 here. We got 0 there. And then our last number we're going to put is 4. So we know we get these from all 3 of these terms. So next we're going to put a line underneath, and we're going to drag down our first coefficient. So we got 1. Now we're going to do 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is a 3. We're going to drop this underneath the 0. Now we're going to add these two together. 0 plus 3 is a 3. And then we do this last one. We got 3 times 3, that's 9. And 4 plus 9 is a 13. Now you notice when we go through and do this, these are the same numbers that pop up in our division, really. We see that 1 here is the coefficient of the x that's here. So 1 here, that's the coefficient of our x. 3 was the next number that came up in our division. So these things pop up. It's connected. And 13, that's our remainder that we saw from before. In the case like how it was up top, we got a remainder of 0. And that meant that in our divisor, sorry, not our divisor, our answer for this, our quotient, we ended up not having a remainder. In this case, our quotient ends up giving us a remainder, which means this 13 comes through and gives us our remainder. So we're going to go through and put in our x's now. So we got 1x, that comes first. Then we got plus 3. So let's put that plus sign in there. Then we got plus 13, and then since we are dividing by a number, we got to put that 13 over what we divided by, which is x minus 3. So all in all, same answer, just a different process. You can use either one of these. Again, either one. Just depends on which one you feel more comfortable with. Okay, so that's 2. Now we got one more down, okay? One more to get down.